What's up, everybody? Roll Tide and welcome to Catfish Courtside. I'm Chad Anderson. Alabama gets a big win last night over Illinois. They return kind of home to Birmingham and knock off the Illini 100-87. We were missing Mark Sears last night. We'll talk about that right now. What's up and good morning. Welcome into the channel. Crimson Tide moves to 4-1 last night. The Illini drop to 3-1 as 8th-ranked Alabama knocks off number 25 Illinois at Legacy Arena. Crimson Tide, it's good to be back again, kind of home, but in front of some home fans. And you got to give Alabama a lot of credit. They came out of the gate swinging last night. And that was so big because when you go, especially having a young team that's still trying to put the chemistry together, they're trying to gel, they're trying to create an identity or at least live and find their place in Nate Oates' identity as a team. Crimson Tide, you don't want to go to Purdue and then have another what could be difficult game on the road or away from home, and then you start to compound some negative things. So it was good to play the game on the road, Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. I've never been there, heard about it. Last night, Jimmy Dykes on the broadcast said that Mackey Arena was the second hardest place in the country to play, second to only Fog Allen Fieldhouse, where the Kansas Jayhawks play. So it says a lot for Alabama to go in there and to hang with the Boilermakers, but it was good to, again, get in front of some home fans, and they came out firing, or at least Grant Nelson did. So Illinois came out, hit some early buckets, but Grant Nelson just kept answering. He was 3 for his first 3 from beyond the arc, had the first 9 points for the Crimson Tide. And once Alabama got that early lead against Illinois, they never really looked back. They led the rest of the way. And in fact, I think the entire game, it was 6 to 8 points, maybe the closest Illinois got. And that was in the second half. Credit them. They did fight. They did try to make a game of it. They hit a couple of key 3-pointers. They caused a couple of turnovers where Alabama got sloppy once or twice, but overall, every time Illinois kept trying to fight, it was Alabama who had some sort of an answer. So Crimson Tide did a nice job last night. Illinois also helped at the free throw line. So the Illini shot only 54%. They had a lot more chances than Alabama. Illinois had 24 attempts at the charity stripe last night compared to Alabama's 13. Alabama sank 11, but Illinois only sank 13 of them. So despite having 11 more attempts than the Crimson Tide, the Illini only had 2 more makes than Alabama the entire evening. And on the personal foul front, it's kind of interesting as you say, oh, the refs suck, or yeah, the refs or the refs or the refs. But if you actually take a step back and look at it, the refs didn't have anything to do with this one. Alabama had 17 personal fouls called. Illinois had 16. Illinois just had more attempts because of being in the paint, creating fouls on shots. One time they were fouled shooting a 3. So again, it wasn't necessarily the officials calling it a tight game, but instead it was just Illinois getting some shooting fouls, but not converting when they had their opportunities. So let's talk about this Bama defense, because Alabama, they did their part offensively again last night. Nate Oates' team, or teams, even past teams, they are not afraid to score 100 points in a contest. Last night, Alabama had 52 points in the first half, and they had 48 points in the second half. They had a 14-point lead, outscoring Illinois 52-38 in half number 1. Bama, though, with 48 points in the second half, they were actually outscored. Illinois put up 49 and closed the gap by 1 for a 13-point loss. But the Crimson Tide defense, I've thought about this, and I thought about it at Purdue. And with the Purdue game, it was second half, Purdue just shot the lights out. And they did. They shot over 60% in that second half against Alabama up in West Lafayette. Illinois here shot 45% from the field the entire game. They were 10 of 30 from the 3-point line, double digits in 3-pointers. That's pretty good. But I just keep going, why isn't Bama clamping down or holding teams, under 80, under 75? If you get a real good game, maybe under 70. And the only thing, I tell you guys this because I know basketball, but I don't know basketball at Nate Oates level. I don't admit or try to admit to that. I just step back and go, is Alabama playing the type of basketball that Big 12 offenses and football used to play? Like, is that what we're seeing? And so when you think, man, I wish our defense was better, do they even have the opportunity to be better? I'll relate it to everybody's favorite, Gus Malzahn at Auburn. When Gus Malzahn and Auburn were high scoring, eventually what happens is your defense would wear out because your offense is going so fast. They're just not on the court or not on the field, so not on the court for as long. If Bama's playing a possessions game, then hey, it's the same concept, right? Like if Bama's pushing it up and down the floor all night long, then that means Illinois is going to get more chances too, right? Like, part of it is, hey, there's just so many possessions in a game that the defense isn't playing bad. It's just that Illinois is getting a lot of shot attempts because there's a lot of possessions. Alabama just makes more shots, or they convert more, they score more. Look at this stat too. Turnovers. So everybody wants to talk defense, and that's why I bring this one up. Look at turnovers. Illinois last night, 13 turnovers to only Alabama's 7. Bama forced double-digit turnovers. Their defense forced almost twice as many turnovers as the offense committed in the entire game. So the only thing I see defensively that I'm a little worried about at the moment, and it's more foul trouble, because Clifford Amore has now played 2 big games, Purdue and Illinois. He's been in foul trouble in both. He got 4 fouls, his 3 fouls in the first half last night. He got his 4th foul early in the second half. And then we didn't see him most of the second half until later in the contest. Nate Oates brought him back in for the end of the game. So and maybe I missed that, but no, I didn't, because he only played 15 minutes last night. So that's my point on the defensive side. I don't think the defense is really that bad, to be honest. They're hustling, they're physical, they're scrappy, they're going for that hard hat award. And it really, to me, is more the foul trouble. Because when Amore is out, Amore is an established big guy. He came from Rutgers through the portal. He knows how to play this. It was one of the biggest gets for Alabama in the offseason. But everybody else, you're still waiting on them to develop and evolve. Jaron Stevenson has to get going offensively to see the court more. He was 0 for again last night from 3-point range. He did make a couple of baskets close to the rim. Cheryl actually got 9 minutes in the game. Diabante, 3 minutes in the game. Grant Nelson, 28 minutes. But Grant Nelson was already the 4 or 5 guy last year, and he complimented Nick Pringle. So I just, it's the foul trouble for me. That's what Amore's going to have to work on, because it's obvious right now, until some other guys get enough reps. And Reed had 19 minutes last night as well, had 4 rebounds. But it's obvious to me that Amore is the leader of that group down low, the most experienced. We all kind of knew that. But Bama's got to, and it's a long season, so there's plenty of time, but they're going to have to develop some other people inside in order to make the defense a complete unit, because the foul trouble, I think, is what caused a lot of headaches for Alabama last night. Let's go through the box score here for just a moment. Grant Nelson led the way for Alabama, 23 points in 28 minutes. The good news is he started the contest 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. He really put the shot in the arm of the crowd. He was 9 of 15 from the field overall. The rest of the game, though, he struggled from 3-point land, going 1 for 6 the rest of the way. So hot start, cooled off a little bit, but the hot start again is what really propelled Alabama to the lead early on. LeBaron Philon had 16 points in 33 minutes. That guy, I love that guy. He's so good. Such a good ball handler, all over the court, can create, can go inside, not afraid of the big men. Love having him on the floor. Latrell Wrightsell had an early 3. made another one, played 30 minutes, 4 for 6 from the field, had 16 points, 4 assists. It was on the bench, Aden Holloway coming in as the sixth man last night. You could tell it was his night because he was really overshadowed by Grant Nelson. But Holloway came in, hits a backboard three, banked it in from the top of the arc early on, then does it again and gets fouled doing so. But he got 29 minutes off the bench last night, quite a bit, 18 points for the transfer from Auburn. And on the rest of it, let's take a look here. Reed had 7, Sherrill had 7, including a three-pointer. Stevenson for Diabate had 3 points for Alabama last night. And then defensively, leading the way, Amori had 6 rebounds. Grant Nelson had 8. Phylon, the point guard, actually had 7, and he had 9 assists for Alabama as well. So as a team, Crimson Tide did not out-rebound Illinois. The Illini actually had the edge there, 44-37. Turnovers, as I mentioned, Bama held or created 13 by Illinois, only turned it over 7 times themselves. Each team had 7 steals. Crimson Tide shared the basketball a little bit better with a 23-15 edge over Illinois in the assist department. So Bama moves to 4-1. Illinois drops to 3-1. The one guy I didn't mention yet, we'll finish this up, is Mark Sears. So Mark Sears had his first game being shut out on the scoreboard since 2020. Well, think about that for a minute. 4 years, Mark Sears didn't have a point. The last time he didn't have a point was when he was an Ohio Bobcat, and it was against, you guessed it, Illinois. You're going to see this more and more throughout the course of the year. You're just going to see it. Sears is in a spot where he is the key target. Hey, if we stop Mark Sears, we're going to be good. We're going to have a chance to beat these guys. We can't let Sears get going. So 2 things. 1, don't panic because Sears is that good. He did have a little bit of an off night, almost looked frustrated for a moment. But Sears is going to be fine. He's a preseason All-American. He's a guy who can take over a game at any given moment. Shots weren't falling. He was frustrated. He couldn't get loose. But the key here is that other players stepped up, and Alabama just beat Illinois 100-87. They scored 100 points with Mark Sears scoring 0. Where would you believe that this Alabama team last year, this year, whatever, would have scored 100 points with Mark Sears not contributing at all as far as points on the scoreboard? So to me, that was a huge deal to tell this team, look, obviously we need Sears down the stretch. We need Sears throughout the season. If you want to be a championship team, you need Sears. But it also tells Sears, hey, you're going to have to figure out ways to create for yourself and the team. And then on top of that, it tells the team, reinforces the confidence. Hey, you guys got a chance to always win games, even if Mark is having an off night. And the more people who contribute and win games without him, the more it's going to free up Sears as well during those types of games. Let's quickly look at the tournament coming up. It's kind of interesting out in Vegas. There are 2 groups. It's an impact group and there is a power group. And so Alabama's in the impact group. Crimson Tide plays Houston, 7 o'clock on Tuesday, November 26th. That game is on TBS. On Wednesday, the 27th, they're going to play Rutgers. That game is at 9 p.m. Central. That one is also on TBS. So it's Bama, Houston, Rutgers, Notre Dame. Those 4 teams are in a pod. That pod will then be broken down into seeding. So Alabama doesn't play Notre Dame, but every team after 2 games will then have a seeding process. And the seeding from that 4-team pod will be based on overall record. And then it'll be based on head-to-head if there's a tie. It'll be total point differential of the games played. It'll be total points scored, and it'll be total points allowed. That's the tiebreaker. So that determines your seed. If you are the 1 seed, you go play in the championship on Saturday, November 30th, and you play that against a team from the power group. The power group's doing the same format. 4 teams over there are San Diego State, Creighton, Oregon, Texas A&M. So Alabama is going to get Houston first, Rutgers second. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. And then depending on how they do, they'll end up on Saturday, day of the Iron Bowl, facing one of the four between San Diego State, Creighton, Oregon, and Texas A&M. So should be fun. We're going to be back here with Catfish Courtside on Wednesday morning, recapping the Houston game. That's a huge one. Then on Thanksgiving morning, we'll drop some more content recapping the Rutgers matchup. And then, of course, on Sunday, Mick and I will be doing Sunday rollback for football. And then we'll also have some basketball to talk about, depending on how things go for the Tide on Saturday, November the 30th. So, all right, that's it for us. Tell you about the mortgage company. Would appreciate first those of you who have reached out and have asked questions or allowed me to help you in the past. Truly can't thank you enough for that. That's my cell phone, 256-509-8200. That's my email, chad@chadwickanderson.com, and my website. There's been so many different conversations and scenarios taking place. So if we can help you from a refinance perspective, help get you out of debt, consolidate some debt, looking at purchasing, whatever the case may be, I've got the lowest rates you can imagine. We've got great fees. We help people out. We close fast. We're giving away credits for viewers and listeners on this channel to help you at closing. All kinds of things going on. And we're saving families on average right now $630 a month when they refinance. Think about that. $630 a month is saved on average when you refinance with us at the moment. So appreciate, like I said, everybody who has reached out. If I can help you or if you just want to chat, would love to have the opportunity to do so. All right. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back. Well, of course, you got the Tailgate Show coming up this weekend with Jake and with Mick. I'll be on there as well. Crimson Tide goes on the road to Oklahoma. Stay tuned to the channel for all the content. Like, subscribe, give us a follow, give us a thumbs up. Roll Tide, and we'll see you soon.